March Madness, a time of year that attracts a bunch of basketball fans around the world to watch college basketball teams attempt to win it all in one huge bracket. March Madness has been around since 1939, and since then, we've got to witness some of the most iconic moments in sports. Not only that, but we have all seen a team who we think has a good chance of winning, but end up losing. That is what we call an upset, and those tend to happen a lot in March Madness. But what are the biggest upsets in March Madness history? How is everybody doing today? It's Sports Hollow back with another video. Today, I'm going to be showing you all the biggest upsets in March Madness history. Let's not waste any time, and let's get straight into it. Starting off with Santa Clara defeating Arizona. Back in 1993, Arizona was ranked second in their conference while Santa Clara was ranked 15th. But there was one man who was on the bench for Santa Clara that went on to become one of the better point guards in NBA history. His name is Steve Nash. Nash didn't have the best performance out of everyone on the team in this game, but still played a huge role in the win. He had 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. The man Santa Clara fans can really thank, though, was Pete Eisenrich, a 6'9" power forward who had a respectable 18 points in the win. This game was wild from start to finish, as the final score was 64-61. Santa Clara would end up hitting a 3 with 10 seconds remaining to take the lead, and at the very end, Nash would miss 2 free throws, and the point guard of Arizona, Damon Stoudemire, would attempt to hit a pull-up 3 with 2 guys in his face. He would obviously miss the shot, and Santa Clara would move on. Wildcats fans were stunned by this loss, and I am sure they have attempted to forget that day. Next up on the list was when Middle Tennessee defeated Michigan State back in 2016. This game was pretty high scoring for a college game, as the final scores were 90-81. So how exactly did Middle Tennessee win this game? Well, it was less playing through the star, and instead more of playing as a team. In this game, Middle Tennessee would have more assists than Michigan State, as they won in that category 20-16. The entire starting 5 for Middle Tennessee finished with more than 10 points. The man who scored the most for them, though, was Reggie Upshaw, who dropped 21 points. The way Middle Tennessee played this game is how every coach dreams of watching their team play, which is not by letting one man take all the shots, but instead equalizing it and let everyone get their touches. Now, this next one actually occurred a couple of days ago. I'm sure this upset destroyed your March Madness bracket. It definitely hurt mine. I am talking about St. Peter's defeating Kentucky. Now, this one came out of nowhere. I am sure we are all aware of how good Kentucky has been in March Madness. So for them to lose to St. Peter's, who never made it to March Madness before this, is wild. Like I said for the Santa Clara vs. Arizona game, it was all about entertainment. St. Peter's starting guards had a combine of 47 points, and this was the 10th time in NCAA history that a team who was ranked 15th in their conference beat the number 2 seed. A lot of sports bettors lost a lot of money that night, and I think this photo right here summarizes how everyone felt about their brackets after the game. Next up on the list is Oral Roberts defeating Ohio State. This happened in the previous March Madness. This game ended up going to overtime, and Oral Roberts was just able to squeeze in a victory by defeating Ohio State 75-72. Max Abmas and Kevin Obanor both had probably the best games of their college career, as they had a combine of 59 points. This win definitely motivated Oral Roberts, as they would continue moving forward in the tournament. Their next opponent was Florida, who was ranked 7th in their conference, and they won. This was a miracle to say the least, but when they would play Arkansas, this is where their journey ended. Nevertheless, this must have been an incredible feeling. I bet a lot of Oral Roberts fans didn't believe they could defeat Ohio State, but they did, and that'll be one victory they will always enjoy looking back at it. This next upset happened in 2012. It was when Lehigh just barely won against Duke, yet another university that plays exceptionally well in March Madness. This Duke team had 8 players on their roster who would go on to make it to the NBA, and 3 of the 5 starters for Duke would go on to be solid players in the NBA. Those players are Seth Curry, Quinn Cook, and Mason Plumlee. As for Lehigh, they were led by none other than CJ McCollum, and that night, McCollum went off. He dropped 30 points and showed basketball fans how he has a bright future in the NBA. Both teams were battling it out throughout the entirety of the game, but at the end, it's safe to say Lehigh ran away and took the dub. Finishing it off with UMBC destroying Virginia. So many miracles in one game. So many fans who thought they knew very well who the better team was, but were wrong. So many fans who lost thousands of dollars. Anyways, there are two reasons why this is possibly the biggest upset in March Madness. One being that this UMBC team was ranked 16th in their conference and was going up against Virginia, who was ranked 1st. So this was already a GG in a ton of people's eyes. But not only did UMBC prove them wrong, but they embarrassed them by blowing out Virginia. The final score was 74-54. The part that really amazed people was that in the first half, it was a close game. In fact, it was tied at 21. But in the second half, something must have happened that really motivated UMBC because they scored a whopping 53 points while Virginia only scored 33. It was madness, and Virginia would end up being the first team to be first in their conference and lose to a college ranked 16th. I am sure Virginia fans were puzzled and furious about this loss. So in the end, I guess there is one thing we could say. Upsets will always happen in sports, and they are only fun to watch if your team wins. If not, then you will have to deal with social media clowning your team for a long time. We will see if a bigger upset than the Virginia game will ever happen or not. And that is going to be it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments if you guys want to see more March Madness videos. This is my first March Madness video I ever made, and I'm not going to lie, I had a lot of fun making it. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you all in the next video. I'm out.